Look that way.
Rationing. And the Screen magazine in its second issue tried to explain to me. Becoming monument to the courage and faith of the unsouthern Americans. Buffalo hunters who with his great show and he well. From these broken streets and hundred bullets.
Hello, my name is Dee Cartover, and this is the History Show. Thank you for watching today. Today we have Keith Phinney. He was a first lieutenant during World War II. If you remember World War II, that's a long time ago, right?
Right.
Right, Keith. He was in the United States Army Air Force. At that time,
No,
they didn't
Air
have
Corps.
Air Corps. I'm sorry, Army Air Corps. The Air Force didn't come into effect until 1947, so that's when they have the Air Force. He was in the Army from 1943 to 1945. He was in World War II, has 35 missions, and he's going to talk about his missions with us. But first, we're going to talk about where he grew up, his family, and from there, we're going to go in his training. And how you were 18 years old. You just graduated from high school. Is that what happened?
Right.
World War II was going
Right.
on?
I started at Boston University in September of '42. The draft age got lowered to 18. I was going to be drafted, so I enlisted in the Army Air Force, and they asked Army Air Corps, and they asked me what I wanted to do, and I said I want to be a pilot. And the amusing thing is I didn't know a wing from a fuselage.
You told me the story earlier that you saw a list and they asked you what to do.
That's right. There was a list in the office, and I looked at the top, and it said pilot. Well, I'm 18 years old. That's a no-brainer. Obviously.
A pilot, yeah, of course, you want the best.
Yeah.
So, you went through tests and.
Oh yeah, all kinds of tests, and then they said, "Okay, you made it. Okay, we'll call you when we want you." And they called me in February.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know how much you want to go through this, but in
It's
February.
your story.
Huh?
It's your story.
Okay, so I go to and do my basic, and then I went home for a little vacation.
Where did you do basic?
Atlantic City.
Atlantic City. Okay.
Yeah, they had us out on the cold beaches in February.
Oh, wow.
It was cold, terrible.
bet,
you know.
I bet.
And I was a very naive little boy, you know, and I'm saying, "What are you doing to me?" But anyhow, I got through everything, and then they started testing me again in about May, and then they sent me to Kentucky and gave me a couple of more tests. And then all of a sudden, they sent me to Alabama to start pilot training.
Where in Alabama? You remember?
Montgomery, Alabama.
Montgomery, okay.
And the first 2 months, I never saw a plane. It was all classroom.
Right.
And they were trying to teach me. I mean, I'm going to be a music teacher in a little while. You know,
Right.
Here I am learning about airplanes and all this sort of thing.
Fuselages and.
But for some reason, somehow I got through.
Yeah, right.
And that's when the fun began. They
Okay.
sent me to Helena, Arkansas.
Helena, Arkansas. Okay.
I did my primary there.
What kind of planes did you fly at
It was
training?
a Fairfield.
A Fairfield.
Two-seat. The instructor sat behind you. You sat in the
Okay.
front cockpit.
Okay.
And his name was Charles.
I remember that.
Charlie Martin.
Okay.
Terrible, terrible person. He on my butt all the time. He just racked me all the time.
What rank was he?
Later on, I discovered he really saved my life all the time because he was good.
What rank was he at the time?
Oh, I don't know. He was I have no
Captain or-
idea.
oh,
I
okay.
just stood in fear every time he came near me.
Okay.
And then one day, where you have to fly so many times, and then they make you do landings. And one day he always got out of the plane and went and had a cigarette next to the tee, and I would sit in the plane ready for the next word. Okay. And one time he went and he looked at me sitting on the tee, and he went like that, which means what?
Start it up.
Fly
Right.
around.
Oh, wow. Solo.
You got it. You picked it up.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm 18 years old.
Right.
Okay.
And you're flying solo, a training plane.
So I flew it around, and I have to confess, I made one of the best landings I ever did in my life. I don't think I ever equaled it.
No kidding.
And taxied over again, and he was still sitting on the tee, and he went like this again, which means go around again. that landing wasn't quite so good. A little bumps on it.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
So I nervously drove over to the tee again, and now this is important because you have to make 3 successful landings in order to be able to fly solo. Now, is he going to send me around again? And he went like that. I flew around a better landing. He got on the wing of the plane. He told me to taxi over to the tarmac. Never said a word to me. And then before he got off the plane, I never forgot it. He said, "Now you're in charge of your own life," meaning he won't be back there to tell me what to do.
Wow. Wow. Now, how long was he in the plane with you? How many times? Did you practice touch and go? Is that with him all the time? Is that?
From that day on, I was on my own.
Right.
We used to go every day with him.
Right.
Starting then, I
How
only went-
long? How long every day? 5 weeks? 4 weeks?
I got there, no longer.
Months? Couple of months?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
October, November, December, January, February, March, April. There's 7 months, about 2
Okay.
months in each place. There were
Okay.
3 of them, okay? I'm
Okay.
sorry, I
all
didn't
right.
do the math ahead of
Yeah.
time.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just bringing back memories that you
here
haven't
were.
thought about.
You got me going.
Yeah, exactly. So you do the solo. What happens after that? Do you get your wings?
No, I'm going
Okay.
to tell you the whole story.
Okay, tell
Very
me-
quick, I'm going to cut it
No,
short.
they don't have to cut it short.
Okay.
I wanted to listen to the story. I'm a historian. I
Okay.
want to listen to things.
I think he had 12 students,
Okay.
okay? 5 of us went on to the next.
Wow.
They wash you out pretty fast.
Wow.
I mean, they don't like it when you throw up in the cockpit, things
No.
like that. Okay?
Yeah. Because they have to clean it up.
You clean up your own mess.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got through. They sent me to Helena. I know the names of the places so well. Walnut Ridge. Again,
Okay. You're in
Arkansas.
Arkansas. Okay.
and now I go into a different kind of a plane. It is one where you're in a canopy, and this one, it was open canopy,
Oh,
open
okay.
cockpit.
Open cockpit.
The second one was the closed canopy, but still the instructor behind you.
Okay.
Okay, and that was my second round, 2 months there or so. Once again, but more of us graduated. They wiped most people out in the first round.
I see. Okay.
So quite a few of us actually went on to the third.
Right.
And the third one kind of surprised me because I was small, very slight. I'm not going to tell you what they call me in school.
Okay.
Okay, but it wasn't nice
All right.
because I was small and very slender.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I thought I was going to be a fighter pilot. Everybody wanted to fly
Of course.
P-51,
Yeah.
come on, P-38, that's me, okay?
Yeah.
So anyhow, I was surprised because they sent me to twin engine.
Twin engines mean 2 engines.
2 engines,
Right.
okay.
Okay.
So I will now be going on to multiple. I'm no longer going to be a P-51 pilot. I
Right.
accepted it very nicely.
Right.
And they sent me on there. I was there 2 months. And in April, I completed it. They gave me a commission and my wings. I think it was about the 14th or 7th of
Now,
April.
how did they give you your wings? Was it in the formation?
Oh, they line us up.
Okay.
Big ceremony,
Yeah,
bands,
yeah,
everything, you name
yeah.
it, okay? And
The
then some
general-
guy comes along and he
Who comes by? Who came by? Who came by? Who was the person that pinned it on you?
Yeah, somebody comes by and puts it on. I
Okay.
think there were about 20 of us.
Was it a general?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. Very low rank.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we went up there,
Yeah, okay. All right.
Okay, so and then they sent me home, but then they told me I was going to Columbus, Ohio, and I thought, Columbus, Ohio? Who wants to go to Columbus, Ohio? And I checked a little further, and it was a B-17 training. And I thought, B-17, these are the glory boys, you know, the guys with the white scarf all the time,
Yeah,
walk down
yeah.
the street, took the grommets out of the hat so they were flatty, you know, flying around.
So B-17 Flying Fortress.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, they used to call it the Hollywood ship
Oh, the Hollywood.
because
ship.
it was so good to photograph.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I didn't know. I mean, you're
All right,
telling me
I'm
these
telling you
things.
stories.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I went home and then I went out there to Columbus. And the first time I got there, And I walked to the flight line, and I saw these 4-engine planes. I thought, what are you thinking?
Were
But
you
I'm-
still naive at the time?
But I'm 19 years old now.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
I've
mature,
aged.
yeah.
I'm growing.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
19, wow.
Wow.
I'm 19, they want me to, okay.
Yeah,
That's what you do when you're 19 and there's a war on.
right.
So I did it. I made it through there, finished there. They sent me to Oddsmore, Oklahoma.
Okay, I'm going to show a picture of you in your uniform as a lieutenant with your wings.
Okay.
So I don't know if you can get this, but this is a picture of Keith. There it is. You can see his wings right there, and then that's the Air Corps medal right there, and that's his officer's hat. And I'm going to show you another picture of him finishing B-17.
That's B-17, that's my crew in England.
No,
in
that's your
January.
England. Okay, this is
This
this
is where we're
I don't
going
know if you
now.
can. This is after.
I just became a full-fledged flyer of a B-17, and they sent me to Oddsmore, Oklahoma, and I met these 8 people who were to be my crew.
Okay.
I had a co-pilot, navigator, bombardier, radio operator, engineer,
Okay.
waste hunter.
Let me ask you this question about a B-17. What armaments did they have on the B-17 to protect it? What armaments? In other words, machine guns?
Machine guns.
How
yeah.
many?
They had, nose, upper
Okay.
turret,
All right.
waist gun.
Okay.
There were 2 in the waist gun, one on each side.
Right, so
okay?
left and right, starboard,
ball
starboard
turret.
and port.
Ball, turret, and tail.
So ball turret turns around
Yeah.
360 on the bottom,
That's right.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
And on the back,
You had
because
a guy lying straight out,
Straight
facing
out.
out the tail.
okay, that's so.
His
so
name was Tasey.
So that means the Luftwaffe, or whatever the
Luftwaffe. Luftwaffe.
Luftwaffe would come behind you, and you'd have a machine
Oh, yeah.
gun behind
got
you.
it.
Right. All right. So you had how many guys on the plane?
There were 9 altogether.
9 altogether. Okay. Who is the most important guy on the plane?
Me.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Nah, kidding.
Now, were you the pilot or the co-pilot?
Pilot.
Oh, you were the pilot.
I was
okay.
the pilot. My co-pilot was about my age. I don't know why I got selected. And I
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah,
tell you.
yeah.
His name was Wickline. He was from California.
Okay.
He died just about 6 months or a year ago.
Oh, that's too bad.
It was interesting because my son, one of my sons who lives in Texas, was in contact with his daughter about us flying back and forth.
Oh,
So
no
just
kidding.
kinda
Oh, yeah,
one of
yeah.
those kind of
Family
things.
affair, a lot of connections that way in the military.
Yeah, things,
and-
life
yeah.
goes on.
Yeah, exactly. So you go to, you're there 2 months for B-17 training, right?
Right.
And you finally get your orders to go where?
I went. First I'm in Oddsmore for about 2 months.
Where's Osmore?
Oddsmore, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
That's
okay.
where I
nice and
trained my
flat.
crew. That's where we learned how
Oh.
to drop bombs and how
So
to get
you-
home when
so-
you're broken down.
So your whole crew met there.
That's where we met.
The
them.
radio operator, the machine gunners,
The
all
whole
met
thing.
there. Okay.
And that
so
was
how
that
many
picture.
how many officers on the crew?
4
of 9?
officers.
4 officers. 2.
Their names are here. As a
Okay.
point of interest.
All right.
You don't need that, but I just let you know.
No.
You mentioned I should
No.
put the names on. I did
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
Tail gunners and the ball turret gunner. So the gunners were enlisted men,
Yes. The officers are pilot,
pilot,
co-pilot, navigator, bombardier.
bombardier. He's the guy that has a little.
That's right. The Norden bomb site.
That was top secret in those
Oh,
days,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. That was the big thing.
That was a big thing.
Yeah.
Because it hit its mark, right?
Oh, you know it.
Yeah. That's how I know it, because I know it was secret and everything. Did you have any secret clearance when you were in the Air Force? Did you have a secret or top
Never.
secret clearance? No. Okay. Okay. So you practiced.
Remember, I'm only 19, 20 years old.
Yeah, I
I
know.
don't even know what's going on in this world.
Yeah, that's true. I won't even get into girls or anything like that.
Yeah.
That comes later. You're in Oklahoma practicing.
And now
right?
the next big
Training.
thing let me tell you
Training.
what happened after that,
Okay.
because this is the monumental thing, and one of the monumental things in my life. We finished training. They sent us up to Nebraska, I think. We
It's all
spent a few
flat.
days.
It's
we're
all
just
flat
sitting.
out
We're
there.
just sitting there, doing nothing.
Yeah.
And then they called the pilots in, from a group of people. There must have been about 18 or 20 of us in the room.
All B-17 pilots.
We're all
Right.
sitting there. We've all been different places training.
Right.
Now we're in a room.
Right.
And this light colonel, you know, a light colonel,
Yes,
not
I
the
do
bird
know,
colonel,
yeah, not a
comes in and he makes a speech to us. He says, "You're going to be with the 8th Army, with the 8th Air Force."
Okay. Well,
I said, "Well, okay, where's that?" I should have known. Actually, I did know.
Yeah.
England. So we're going to England. Yes, he says, "You'll fly across." And so, but he went like that, cleared his throat. This guy was about 2 years older than me, so he was quite old. He could
yeah,
dare do
he's the
that.
old
Okay.
man of the outfit, right?
And so he got up, he says, "You mean you're going to fly us over to England instead of taking the convoy?" He was all excited. He was going to fly over, not have to sit in a ship for all that trip.
Right.
And the colonel looked at him and says, "No." And the guy says, "But you just said," and the colonel looked at him and says, "You're going to fly a plane to England, because that's how we get them there."
That's right. Of course. I mean, it makes
I'm
sense.
sitting there. I forgot. I'm 20 now.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What rank were you then? You were second lieutenant still?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't become a first for a little while.
Okay.
And so, I mean, first, it was just 70 years ago this month, on Thanksgiving weekend, that I flew a plane at the age of 20 across the Atlantic Ocean
Wow.
to Wales.
Wow. Wow, that's it. That's very interesting. Congratulations.
Okay, I just thought you'd like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I like that. I like that.
Use it for what it's
Yeah,
worth.
yeah, no, I like it. So you're in the middle of the country. You're in Nebraska, right?
Yeah.
Where do you fly
We
to
were,
next?
okay, I'm ready.
Yep, I'm ready to listen.
We left Nebraska and flew to Dowfield, Bangor, Maine.
Okay, makes sense.
They allowed us a night to sleep.
Okay.
We get up the next day and we fly to Goose Bay, Labrador.
I thought you were going to say Goose Bay, Labrador. I've landed at Goose Bay, Labrador.
Okay.
I won't tell you why, but I was at Goose Bay, Labrador. It's in the middle of nowhere.
It's the middle of nowhere, and the only thing up there is snow.
It's snow
And one black-
one airstrip.
black one.
Exactly. Thank you.
And I can remember getting there, and I said, "You want to put this down once. You don't want to go around."
Right,
okay?
right.
And I got it down the first time.
Yeah.
So
In those days, they didn't have the refueling that we do now. So when you left the United States, you went to Goose Bay, Labrador,
And they
and you
fueled me.
gassed it.
that's where I got fuel.
You get fueled up there, and then did you go to Iceland next?
No,
No? Okay, you went straight.
Ready?
Go ahead.
we flew from Goose Bay, Labrador, across the Atlantic, over Ireland, and landed in Wales.
Okay. How much fuel did you have in your plane?
Just enough.
Just enough. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Okay. Did you?
It was kind of a remarkable thing because we're all very young guys,
Yeah.
you know, and here we're flying across this ocean, you know. It's
Yeah.
kind of exciting.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I mean, did you see any ships down below?
No, we were up there 10,000
oh,
all the time.
how high?
And you're over the Atlantic. It's November. It's foggy, rainy, everything all the time.
Oh wow. Yeah,
So
that's right.
You just get through.
Yeah. Was it cold in the cockpit?
We had
Heaters?
heaters.
Okay.
We had a warm seat, a suit,
Okay.
a heated suit. They
What about the gunners? I mean, the enlisted men.
everybody had their
Oh,
own.
they did. Okay, because you're
Yeah.
that high up, it gets kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. I'm
It was
listening.
kind of fascinating. You
Yeah.
know? Today, when I think of it, and I look back and I say, well, I was 20 years old, my response was, of course.
Of course.
You do it.
Right.
Today, I look back and I say to myself, what were they thinking?
But see, that's what they want. They want the young, healthy, good vision, good hearing
Yeah.
in the military.
Oh, yeah.
They take the best.
Yeah.
They take the cream of the crop of Americans
That's
in the
right.
military. Believe it or not. I mean, they want you healthy. After that, they don't care. But I mean, it's just at that time they want you physically, mentally, and all those things come into play. Physical. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I
No,
got
that's
off
good.
track. I got off
When
track.
I get to Wales,
Now, there's no woman in your outfit, right?
no,
Okay.
zero.
And there's no African Americans in your outfit.
Oh no,
No,
those.
okay.
This is a thing I learned about hate, and
Oh,
I
Tell me-
had grown
tell-
up very naive.
Yeah,
I didn't
tell
realize
Tell me that.
how much in different parts of this country there was hate for different ethnic groupings, for race groupings, for religious groupings. I had led a very sheltered life. I grew up. Okay.
When you mean ethnic groupings, what do you mean by that? Because there's race and there's ethnic. What do you mean by that?
The Irish versus the racist. Okay.
Who were the racists?
Religious.
Oh, religious. I see.
Yeah.
So you're
I
talking.
had an experience in basic training. A young Jewish boy who I made friends with, who kept in touch with me for many years,
Right.
had another Jewish boy nailing him to the ground and criticizing him because he was from Flatbush and not from someplace else. And I thought, how can you be like this? But I'm learning. Okay, I'm growing up.
You're obviously fast.
And I am a result of all these things.
Yeah, no, that's good. So any other ethnic, Italian?
Oh yes,
yeah.
they had words for everybody.
Oh, you mean the slur words for
Oh,
everyone?
yeah, it was
Okay.
terrible. Okay.
Yeah.
And in my
this
house,
was-
at home where I was raised, those words were forbidden. Didn't know them.
Yeah.
Okay. No one spoke like that.
Right.
That's how sheltered I had lived.
So with this hatred in the military in World War II, in regards to your name, ethnic group,
Yeah.
race, do you think that the officers who were in charge did not give out medals to certain groups of people because of their
I have
ethnic
no idea what they're
and,
thinking.
and race? I'm just asking you just from
Yeah,
your
I want to tell
experiences.
you, prejudice by all levels, just hair raising. I remember when I was in Kentucky one time, before I started training, and it was a month or so because they were waiting for an opening for a series,
Yeah,
okay?
right.
And I noticed that the only time we ever saw African Americans, that's not what we called them then, but I'm being
right.
nice, okay?
That's
I
right,
want
yeah.
to do the right thing,
Yeah,
please,
yeah,
okay?
yeah.
The only time I saw them was when we went to eat, and they were always in the kitchen serving us. And I, in a kind of innocence, asked another person like myself waiting too, and he was from the Deep South. And I said, how come the only time we see Afro-Americans is when we go to eat and they're in line serving food and cooking for us? And his answer is, that's all they're good for.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, this struck me. I have not forgotten that.
Yeah, obviously.
I have
Yeah,
not
but
forgotten
I'm
because
glad you mentioned
that's
that.
when I realized the kind of hate there was. So we go on.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I get to England. I'm in
Okay.
England now,
Yeah,
Wales. Okay.
Now you were flying over England and you were saying to yourself, what were you saying to yourself when you were looking down at England? It's a different country. It looks different.
I landed. I flew over Ireland.
Okay.
In Ireland, in the eastern section of Ireland, there's a radio station called Nuts Corner.
Okay.
That's all the pilots aimed for that.
I see.
And we had a
They
system
guide
that
on that.
it took us right across. You get across. When you crossed over that, you knew where you were,
I
and
see.
you get a signal.
I see.
And then so you just keep going over the water again, and
Okay.
then we land in Wales. It was,
All right.
I'm learning things at a very fast rate.
No doubt about it.
Fortunately, I learned.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah, good. You have
As
to
they say,
learn. If you don't-
Sometimes it's good when you're trainable.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
At a young age,
Yeah.
and you're naive.
So anyhow, that just 70 years ago, I made that flight,
Yeah.
which is kind of interesting
Yeah,
to me.
yeah.
Okay, but kind of amusing.
Did you fly back home that way?
No, I came back on a convoy. I'll get there in
Okay,
about
yeah, okay.
8 minutes.
Well,
okay?
don't rush. Take your time because I want to listen
So-
to the story. So you land in England. How many planes were
I have no
following you?
idea. There were a bunch of us.
A bunch. Okay.
I would say 12 to 18 planes took off that
At
night.
the- at the
okay?
same
But
time, or
we
was it staggered?
separate with different times.
Okay,
I'm
different.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
We never saw
Okay,
one in another.
Okay. Right. All right.
And then they said they wanted me to, they were sending me to Kimbolton, England, which is about 15 miles west of Bedford, England, which is about 60 miles north of London.
Okay.
North of London, about 60 miles, to a little bit to the west, is a town called Kimbolton. It used to be it had been a fighter field for the RAF.
What's the RAF for the
Royal,
audience?
Royal Air Force.
Air Force, okay. The British Royal Air Force.
British Royal Air Force. There was also the RCAF, which is the Royal Canadian Air Force, which I had a cousin in.
Oh, were they there on that base, or but they were in
No,
England?
not there, but
they were stationed.
yeah.
Did you see your cousin there?
Never saw him.
Never saw
His plane went down in '44
Oh, that's too bad.
over Germany on
Oh.
a night flight with no remains or anything.
Oh,
We
okay.
lost him. Anyhow, I'm there, and that's when I begin my 35 missions. I'll tell you a little bit about my first mission.
I want to listen to all your missions.
No, I can't do that.
So, when you get your first mission, you're in the briefing room, right?
Right. What happens the first time?
Yeah,
You
just
don't fly. You're not a pilot the first time. You're a co-pilot.
okay.
You
All
get,
right.
I think, 3 to 5 missions as a co-pilot
I see.
to get you ready for the
I see.
deal, because
big-
you're going to learn something.
big show.
Okay? And that's a good thing, by the way.
Right.
So this guy comes in about 3 o'clock in the morning and taps you on the shoulder, and he says, "Up, you're going." He didn't do that to the other 3 guys in my place because they weren't flying that day. Because I'm the pilot, I got to go learn. So it seemed early. And then we have breakfast, and then you go to a briefing.
Well, tell me what happens in the briefing. I mean, what do they say to you? I mean, you sit down and there's an officer in front of you. What is he, captain, lieutenant, colonel?
Okay. Oh, Colonel Kyle. He's right. He's right there.
Oh, okay.
Lyle. That's him.
That's Colonel Kyle.
Nice guy.
Okay.
Really liked him.
Oh, good.
Anyhow, the pilots are in one, the navigators are in another room, the
I
see.
see. Okay,
Everybody's
that's-
getting their instructions.
Yeah, I want
okay?
the clarification.
So I'm sitting there with all these pilots around, you know, and I'm going to be a co-pilot, and I really don't want to be a pilot yet.
Right. Are they telling you war stories? Are they the other pilots that are there?
No,
at
they
the field? They don't. They
They-
don't say anything to you.
Everybody has their own thoughts.
Okay. All right.
That was another lesson I learned. Anyhow,
You learn it very quickly, don't you, in the military?
oh, you don't have time.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't hesitate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
No,
a good thing to remember in life.
you
Don't hesitate.
no.
Take it if you can, right?
As fast as you can absorb.
I don't mean steal it, but
Yeah.
but if the opportunity arises,
Yeah.
take it,
Grab.
right? Yeah.
But I can remember the colonel saying, the mission today, I don't know all the particulars,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
but I'm going to tell you the things that come back and strike
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
He said,
yeah.
We're going to Mannheim. Mannheim is an industrial place along the Rhine River that has a bridge, heavily protected. When he said Mannheim, all the pilots who had been there before went, oh, because they knew we were into trouble.
Because it's protected by anti-aircraft.
Anti-aircraft.
Right.
So,
You know, hold your story, and I want you to hold your story because we have a minute left in the show. See how fast a half an hour it goes?
okay.
All right. So what we're going to do is have you come back and talk about your first mission,
Okay.
and we'll talk about going to Mannheim, Germany.
Okay.
And I don't know if there's any Germans out there, but people in Germany and Europe know where Mannheim is. It's right on the Rhine River, right?
Right. It was one of the last bridges going across, and the Germans were using to feed the Bulge.
Okay. Oh, okay. I understand. So the
was very
Bulge, the
important.
Battle of the Bulge was going on,
Yeah.
right? And you were going to knock out this bridge.
That was the
Hopefully.
object.
Listen, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
pleasure.
And we'll have you back, and we'll talk about that experience.
Okay.
And we'll get that story and other stories. Keith has had 35 missions in the Air Force and U.S. Army
Air Corps.
right before the Air Force. So we're going to talk about the 35 missions on the next show. Make sure you watch it, and we'll get you back and
Okay.
get this
Thank you.
DVD going. And
Are you on camera? Wow.
Yeah, we're still.
Issue War II, Rationing. And the Screen magazine in its second issue tried to explain to me becoming monument to the courage and faith of the undaunted American. Buffalo hunter who with his raking up from these broken streets.
Hello, my name is Dean Kartova, and this is the History Show. This is the second part of the interview with Keith Phinney. He was a lieutenant, first lieutenant in World War II. He was not a fighter pilot, but he was a B-17 pilot, flying fortress. That's what they called him. And the first show we talked about his experiences in basic training, and then he became a pilot, and he went through training. 2 months of regular training, then 2 months, and then he became a B-17 pilot. And now he's flown over the Atlantic into England, and that's the story that he's going to start to tell us about his first mission in England and where he's going to go. In fact, he told us that he was going to Mannheim, and I told him, please wait till the next show. So this is the next show. I just want to say, if you have anybody that's a World War II veteran, any veteran who wants to come on the show, please contact Chelmsford Telemedia in Chelmsford, Massachusetts. And we'd like to have your brother, sister, father on the show, your mother, and talk about their experiences, okay? So, Keith, we're back to United Kingdom. And you were at the, what airfield was that?
Kimbolton Airfield.
Kimbolton Airfield, okay.
And it's the 379th Bomber Group.
Okay.
And I gave you a wrong number. I was in 525. There were 4 groups, 524, 5, 6, and I think I gave you 524.
Okay.
Just a dumb mistake. I know what I was.
Yeah, you
okay?
gave me
I think I
524.
just typed wrong.
And I looked it up
trying
and
to
everything.
Get the thing, my act together.
Oh, okay.
Anyhow, I'm in the 379th. The first lesson I find out we're going to go to Mannheim, and everybody in the room who had been there went, oh, that's where I ended, okay?
Right.
All right. And then I was to learn an awful lot. Now, I'm going to grow up very fast, okay?
Now, the first mission, you're a co-pilot on
I'm
that.
a co-pilot.
And-
Could not tell you where in the formation I was. I believe I was on the right wing of the colonel, but I'm not 100% sure. I do know I was in the right seat. That's the co-pilot seat, and the plane that we're flying, the wing of, is on my left, so that I'm on this side. This becomes important in a few minutes.
Oh, okay, yeah. Was it a captain that was your pilot, or
I believe it was.
Okay.
Okay, almost positive.
Okay. Right. Okay.
But somebody who had a lot of experience.
When you go into a briefing room, what do they say to you when you're sitting there with all the pilots? I mean, what do they tell you? How the plan of the attack? Are you going to go south and then north, or do you go north
give
and
you
then
a route.
south? Okay.
They give you a route for the group. The whole thing goes at the same time. Okay.
How many planes
And
are we
it's,
talking about? 30, 50?
12 planes in a group.
12 planes in the
Okay.
group. Okay. Do you have protection?
Well, they're going to be flight. Okay. Do you need? Okay.
Yeah, I want the.
You really want to know
story.
everything?
Yeah,
don't
I
you?
do.
You are pushing. No, I like it.
Fighter
First,
pilots.
we get all our own guns, okay? Our
Yeah.
machine guns, and
Okay.
there's one in the nose, one in the ball turret, one above, one in the tail, and 2 on the side.
the
So we got
sides.
those machine guns
Okay.
going for me.
50 caliber machine gun?
Yes, okay. So then, when you leave England, you also have a fighter escort, usually P-51s.
Okay.
But when I was first there, they didn't have wing tanks, and so they could only go so far, and then they had to
okay.
go back.
I
Later,
see.
as the war progressed, and sometime later on, they developed wing tanks for P-51s, and they went almost all the way with you and back, okay,
I
which
see.
was something we really liked.
Yeah, exactly.
Because on these missions, when they didn't, then the Luftwaffe got into the picture, and they come up, and they were always behind you and above you, and they come down and strafe you, all right?
Wait, just one question. When you're up in the air, right? This is boy, I lost my track of what I was going to ask you. You're up in the air in formation, right? and you're bunched together, right?
Yeah, there would be like 4 groups. Okay, lead plane, wing. Okay,
Right.
a man here, a wing,
Right.
and a man down here
Right.
in the pit. Okay, so each plane in the squadron would have 4 planes. The lead,
Okay.
2 wings, and a low man, okay,
Right.
in the hole, all right?
I know what the
And
question
then
was. Okay.
that would be flying with 3 other planes in a formation.
Okay.
Or 4, sometimes 4, okay. But that's why the Americans were successful, because these groups of planes, this group and this, we're just, 1/16th of a mile apart. So when you drop your bombs, you're going to hit a big pattern. And this was it.
Oh,
This
I
was
see.
different than the British, who went in singular at
Oh,
night.
one behind each
The-
other?
The British never flew in formations because they're flying at night.
Oh, so the British flew at night and the Americans flew during the day.
You got it.
So that's why it took a higher casualty than the British.
Oh, you got it. Yeah.
I thought I read one time it was 38% casualty
We
rate.
lost 140, number there how many planes got lost. And
in just your group.
just my unit. They
When you fly, do you fly with radio silence?
we can talk to our group.
Just
That's
group.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought they had the number of planes there.
It's all right.
We lost 149
Okay,
planes
total.
from our group over the
That's
period
9
of time.
people.
Okay?
That's 9 people in the plane if they don't parachute out. Did you have parachutes on? When you
We
were
had them
flying?
there. I took them off to fly. All pilots did.
Oh, they did.
Most of the crew, it was their discretion
I
how
see.
they were. Okay, some flew with it on. Some no. I'm ready. They had it readily available.
Okay.
They were instructed to use them.
Right.
Okay, so that was it. The thing is that. Let me finish this flight.
Go ahead, good. Finish
and then
the
I'll
flight.
tell you why.
Finish
Okay.
the flight. That's
Let me
that's
finish
the
my
most
flight
important.
because I want to get
Now you're looking.
by.
Yeah,
We're
well,
going to go to Mannheim,
Mannheim,
okay?
okay.
Everybody's not too happy about it, and I hear the grumbles. But they're also telling us the route and what your belt navigators is there, and they're telling you different things like this, so you learn, okay?
Right.
No one talks,
Right.
and then he says, "Okay," and everybody gets up, gets on a jeep, and they take you to your plane. No conversation. We take off. We go to Mannheim. Fighter planes, obviously, are going to come down on us, and they did. I never saw them because they were back up there, and the crew would say, "Oh, there's one over there on the left," and and people are getting shot at. But this is when I learned, where you get to the point where you have to do your bomb run. When you start your bomb run, the lead ship puts his Norden bomb sight on the target, and we're going to drop when he drops. We don't
Okay.
do it singularly, okay?
Okay.
So
there's
that the guy leading the group, Colonel Lyle, he's out front, and the rest of us are all around him like this, flying as tight as we can, keep tight, and when he drops the bomb, ours go like that.
Okay.
So there's like
The bombardier
2
drops.
seconds.
Yeah, the bombardier drops the bombs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lead ship bombardier drops.
What is the? How many bombs can you hold?
Different. There were 6 1,000s or 1 6,000. There were a lot of incendiary bombs which were in groups and then spread out.
I see. Okay. Yeah. All right.
So it's always different.
Okay.
Anyhow, we're going down. Time to open the bomb bays, get ready on the run. Everybody opens their bomb bays.
Right.
And so now we have these groups coming down over at Mannheim. The flak, as they used to say, this is Army talk now.
German flak.
The flak was so heavy you could
Anti-aircraft.
walk on it. Okay. Now, flak, when it explodes, sends out particles about the size of 2 peanuts.
Yeah. All right.
And it goes right through your plane. If it strikes you, you're gone.
Yeah. Shrapnel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was all over the place. You get home, you count the holes.
No kidding.
Okay? So we're going down like this. And about less than a quarter of a mile, maybe an eighth of a mile, a short distance from us, 3 football fields or so, I can't tell you the distance. all of a sudden I saw an amazing explosion.
Wow.
Bright red, all black around it. One of our planes got a piece of shrapnel in the bomb bay. It tripped at one of the bombs was supposed to drop and blew the whole thing up.
Wow. Right in your face.
That plane, with his 9 men, just fell out of the sky.
There's no survivors.
I want to tell you, I'm 20 years old.
Yep.
I think I'm a sharp kid with a white scarf, and I'm a pilot.
You had a white scarf, huh?
Well, I was a pilot. You have to have a white scarf.
Right, okay.
And then I saw what the war was all about.
The reality hit you in the face.
That's when I knew why they had been training me for 18 months.
Okay.
Okay. I learned a lesson I never forgot. Okay, it's there. And
That you had a mission, and you had to fulfill the mission.
that's right, and I can't concentrate on this.
Yeah.
I see it today. I know the color.
Right.
I know the color.
I'm sure you do.
And what the realization, which must have been for 2 heartbeats, that 9 men just fell to the ground.
Right. Your men.
Yeah.
Americans.
They're on our side.
Yeah.
And that only has to happen to you once, then you know.
The reality sets in, huh?
Yeah, it's just hair raising.
So after you drop the bombs,
Then we scoot.
now do you scoot? Do you break up
Yeah,
in
each
formation?
squadron goes
Goes
its own way.
way.
This guy, and they have flight patterns back, okay?
Right.
Because if you get away from the target, then you get away from the flak. Because the moment you get out in the country, there's
Yeah.
no more.
Yeah.
Then you have to get away from the fighters,
Fighters
and then
that
you
are
get
after
back
you.
to. There will be some P-51s flying.
Now, in case of emergency, let's say that you crashed or something, what was the procedures? What did you learn? If you had to jump out, if your plane was hit, or if you had to make a crash landing, what was the procedures? What did they tell you
Okay.
to do?
You see all these things happening, okay?
Yeah.
You get hit,
Right.
okay. If you can, you parachute out immediately.
Okay.
Because when a plane is hit and starts to fall, it's going to go into a spin,
I see.
and you can't move.
I see.
Then you go down with the plane.
Right.
Amen. We saw that
I'm
from
sure.
our group,
Yeah.
okay? In time, we're going to see some of those, okay?
Right.
Sometimes you see a parachute or 2 parachutes. Sometimes, I think the most I ever heard I never saw anything like this because I'm still flying.
Right.
I'm not looking around.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my wing 20 feet from
So
another wing.
your gunners are telling you what they
My
see.
guys on my crew say,
Yeah.
hey, there's this there.
Yeah.
No parachutes, no parachutes, no
Oh,
parachutes.
no kidding.
Missed him.
Wow.
He fell. Okay.
Wow.
And that, that was it. But you just accept it at that age as part of what you're doing. Okay?
Right.
And it's a lesson in life, and it doesn't leave you. I don't, I have to confess to you, I've never told these stories to anybody.
No.
I never talked to
Not
my
even your
family about
wife,
it.
right?
I told as little as I can. I
Yeah.
don't want to get involved.
Yeah.
Okay. And telling you now, after today, it's over. But I'm spilling the guts here.
Yeah, good. I'm glad
It's
you
all
are.
over.
I'm glad.
Okay. I
Yeah.
don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
Leave me.
So you get back to the base in England. What do you do?
We all have to go for what do they call it? Anyhow, debriefing.
Debriefing. What happens in the debriefing? What's going on? They tell you that you knocked out the bridge?
We never got it.
No kidding.
We never got it.
No
It
kidding.
was the only. I think it was the last remaining one there, and we needed it when we crossed the
Yeah.
Rhine. We were building bridges in the
Yeah,
Rhine, the
exactly.
pontoon bridges.
Yeah, the pontoon
and this was
bridges,
the only
yeah.
place we didn't have to.
Yeah.
But we did a tremendous amount of damage to the city and its manufacturing abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So we are successful in that line.
Right,
all
right.
So that's my first mission, and I think for growing up and learning and know what the war was all about, that was probably the most important thing that happens to me as a person. Okay. I think.
Well, I mean, what about planes not coming back? Do you have planes in your wing or your group that didn't come back?
Yeah. I didn't keep a record of how many didn't come back.
But
Okay,
you knew the guys that were
But we
sitting
know-
next to you.
planes went down.
Yeah.
I remember over Berlin, which was in February 3rd, I think. His name was Weber, California. No, from Chicago. Nice guy, married, one child. And in the evenings, when we weren't doing anything else, there were always poker games over there. I'm not a poker player.
Lot of
It wasn't my
drinking?
thing. But we,
A lot of drinking?
not a lot.
Okay.
I want to tell you, there wasn't the drinking that you might have thought.
Well, no, because
Very-
pilots have a
Yeah, always a drink.
yeah.
I learned to drink then. I never drank
Yeah,
before I
you
went
know.
in the army.
Well, I
They
mean,
taught me.
hey,
They taught
listen,
me to smoke and drink. You know.
if I
look,
was-
look at what you got.
Yeah, if I was a pilot like you, I'd drink too after what you saw. You know.
But Weber and a group of us, we used to play bridge
Okay.
night after night. It was kind of interesting because it was just a different kind of people who played bridge than played poker, and we had our own groups, you know, that we were isolated to it. But I can remember him, and then in Berlin, I can remember. Okay, he real nice person.
Yeah.
And then I remember when all of a sudden his plane, it was off to the right, and he spun out, and we knew he'd been hit, and it went into a spin very
Oh,
quickly.
that was it, because they
Yeah.
couldn't get out.
No parachutes.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was interesting because I could hear Tacey, and this guy here, in the tail, following it down, telling us what's happened. And then all of a sudden it went into a cloud bank. And up to that time there had been no shoots, but by that time it was too late.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
too
yeah.
tight to spin.
Yeah.
And they're not going to get out. Okay. And those kind of things, you know, affect you.
No, no doubt about it. I
You
mean,
just, you know, you can't think.
I'm gonna show a
Oh.
picture of the guys here. While he's getting the picture up, the maintenance crew, the guys who took care of the planes, were they assigned to your plane, or was it just in general maintenance?
The maintenance people owned the plane.
Okay.
There's a crew.
Okay, here's
that
the
plane
picture.
was their plane.
You are, let's see, you are right there, right? That's you. The
This
pilot.
is me there.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I said. Okay.
Pilot, co-pilot, navigator, bombardier, standing.
Yeah, standing. The enlisted men are the
Enlisted man underneath.
underneath. What are the?
You want me
are
to
the-
name
are
them?
the- Yeah,
What the-
name them.
Ball gunner, engineer, upper gun, radio operator, used a waist gunner, and tail gunner.
Okay. And when the top and the officers, the four standing, the pilot, the co-pilot, the navigator, and the bombardier, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the picture. Here's
that
another
looked pretty
picture.
good. That's
yeah. Here's another picture I want to show of Lieutenant Keith Phinney. That's Lieutenant. You can see he has his wings. That's when he was a young man, still a young man.
Oh, you're
So-
good. You're
so-
good.
So we're gonna talk about the maintenance. What was the maintenance crew? Tell me about them. Tell me what they did.
Maintenance crew were assigned a plane. Now-
That's how it was. Okay.
And I believe there were four. There may have been a fifth person with it. Okay.
Okay.
I can't tell
Yeah.
you. When you land and you taxi over to where that one goes, they start, the first thing they do as a group, I mean, this
Yeah.
is weird. They don't even talk to you, you know. They go around to see how many holes they got to patch.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Okay.
That's
it's just
their
like
job.
this. Don't bother them. Okay. they got their
Their
thing,
mission.
you know.
Yeah, they have their
Also,
job.
they were a very possessive kind of people. This is mine. You take care of it. They were like this.
It's like a baby to them.
They really
They babied it.
got attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one group of them waiting for the plane that didn't come back.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask
They
you.
were on an edge of being distraught about it.
No
they
kidding.
Really.
It must have been depressing.
They felt the responsibility, you know. But that was that's how things were then. you
Well,
know?
I mean, they have in their mind, did the plane go down because of the mechanic problem, or did it go down because it was shot down?
They don't know.
They don't know, and they never
Did
know.
they make it go down, you know?
Yeah,
They were very
that's
like that,
psychological,
okay?
I think, on maintenance crews like
And
that.
there was always a sergeant who was in charge of the crew.
Okay.
Okay. And after they had gone around the plane,
Yeah,
and it's always amusing because there's always at least one guy
Yeah,
would
yeah,
go on
yeah.
the wing and get on top to see if we got any holes from on top, you know. But that's their job, so that's okay. I never.
so
got
they
in the way.
changed the oil, they gassed the plane,
They
did
did
all
everything.
the-
They went through everything
they-
for
they-
you. If you had any fraction of a thought that you were concerned, you told him. And then
You told the
thing-
sergeant, he wrote it down.
The first thing that the sergeant would do. The other people didn't inquire. Only one person talked to us.
Okay.
Until now, I haven't thought to think that out. But they wanted all the information in one source. They didn't want,
Okay.
this guy knows this guy knows, no, everybody. So what I always did, and it turned out to be the right thing, but it was an accident and I wasn't that bright. Okay? I would go to him and I'd say, this is what I know. But remember, I'm flying, I'm not looking around,
That's
I
right.
can't tell you.
Right.
And then I would say, speak to each of my crew members, if you don't mind. I did that every time. And they did. They always spoke, because they knew when we got something happened here. Oh, no, I heard
Oh,
this.
that engine's out or something.
I'm
you
too
told
busy
them. Yeah.
Flying,
Yeah.
you know, to.
Yeah.
Because I can remember a couple of times at the beginning when some fighters came in and the tail gunners yelling at me that I don't see it. Well, they're behind me, you idiot. I'm flying a plane, you know. But
All right, let's talk about your other missions because we don't have very much time.
Okay.
So let's get on track here.
we went to places like, obviously, Berlin, I mentioned. Munich, that's a long flight. Well, one of those, I think the one from Munich, I had to leave the formation because I had a problem with an engine and flew along all the way back
Ooh, that's
across
dangerous, isn't
Germany,
it?
okay?
Yeah. You're a
And
sitting duck, aren't you?
not comfortable.
Yeah.
And we saw some fighter planes, and I never saw any of this. I'm telling you what I heard,
Yeah, yeah,
okay?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't nail me.
Yeah. Well, no.
All-
I mean,
all I
they're
know-
visually seeing it.
We're on a radio stations to communicate out that this is what's happening to me.
Right.
And we saw a couple of fighter planes. I didn't see them, but my crew did.
Right.
And then we heard a voice, slightly southern, okay? And he said, don't worry, we got them. And a couple of our planes were up there. The moment the other planes saw them, they scooted.
Oh, okay.
So we never had a confrontation.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And
Any other
I
things
want
that-
to say thank you to those guys. I
Yeah.
never met them. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't even know what they were flying. Okay, because they were back there someplace. My crew was, and we can't talk to them. You know,
Radio silence.
yeah, you gotta. We don't want to let everybody in the world know where I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. People don't understand radio silence is very important in the military.
Yeah.
You have to keep your radio shut off.
Yeah.
Tell me another Berlin. What, were you happy to go to Berlin and bomb it? I mean, how did you feel? How did the crew feel?
I think, just, you know, when you're 20, things are different.
Right.
Okay? They wanted to get those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Krauts.
They wanted to get them.
Right.
And they were like, we're going to do this. And the thing is, that's a long flight. Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to be up in the air for a long while.
Yeah. What's the radius of the flight? What's
Well,
I mean,
how about London to Munich? You do it.
Yeah. Okay. 2,000 miles, something like that. Yeah.
That's the furthest we did.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. But remember, the guy in the back, the tail gun, is lying on his belly for 10 hours,
Wow.
looking out that tail.
How's he go to the bathroom?
Well, we
That's a
all,
good question.
there was, the pilot had a pilot relief tube, okay, because he's a
Okay.
big guy.
Okay.
But the crew had one, but it was in the bomb bay, and you had to unhook your oxygen to get out of your heated suit, and to get to it. So what they did, before we took off, they armed the bombs.
Okay.
And the things that armed the bombs were in a thing like this, like a,
Container.
you know,
Yeah.
the kind of potato chip you buy.
Okay.
Okay, and round tube.
Okay, yeah,
Those
yeah,
were-
yeah.
You understand
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
okay.
okay.
And
Yeah.
that's how they did it. The crew would take those with them, and if they had to
Relieve
urinate,
themselves.
that was better than taking off their oxygen, taking off this
I see.
and that. It was just
I
easy.
see,
So they,
okay.
when
So what
they,
they do, throw it out the plane? And,
I was not required to check on that.
okay.
And I had, if you'll excuse the
Yeah.
expression, better sense than to
Yeah,
ask. Okay.
okay.
So
Right.
I hate the people who litter, but
Yeah, okay. As long
maybe
as
they
it's
threw
not-
them over
as
the
long as it-
channel. Let's say
yeah,
they threw them out
yeah,
over the channel.
Yeah, okay. Not on top of the people.
These were good
Okay,
guys.
yeah.
They were on that side.
So what was memorable about some of the flights? Did you ever? You didn't see anybody parachute? Did you ever see a plane crash?
No.
Okay.
Remember that by the time they drop down, I'm up front. I'm looking this way. They're back there.
Right.
The crews mentioned when planes came out,
Okay.
when parachutes came out. I hear that a number
Okay.
of times.
Wow.
They would tell us, okay? But for you to ask if I ever saw any of that, the answer was no.
Nothing. Nothing landing in England or
nothing.
anything
They
like
don't.
that. Let me ask you this: when you were suited up and stuff, did you have a .45 pistol? Did you have a .45 in case
Yeah,
you
we
had
had a gun
parachute?
on us, but I.
Okay.
I
You didn't-
couldn't even
you
know
didn't
where
know
I
how to
kept
shoot.
You know, we're only 20-year-olds.
Right.
You're a pretty cocky crowd.
No doubt about it.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And naively very arrogant and self-assured, but you had to be.
Right. When did you hear the end of the war? When did you hear the end of the
Okay.
war? Where were you when you heard
Okay, I got to finish, and I'm going to get there.
Okay.
Okay.
Because
I'll
we
be-
have 3
I'll
minutes
tr-
left.
Huh?
We have 3 minutes left.
Oh, I finished my missions before the war ended,
Okay.
and they sent me down to go on a ship to come back here, and I was out to sea on VE Day.
VE Day.
The
yeah.
war ended
Victory
while
in
I was
Europe.
on the convoy, and my navigator had flown some extra missions, so he was getting on board. He landed in Boston, and he was on the first group that came back from Europe that had, since the war ended,
Oh,
and-
okay.
and everybody was at the dock waiting. Mine went past the Statue of Liberty. I want to say it was the first time I ever saw 2,000 or 3,000 men crying when they saw the statue.
no
I mean,
kidding.
they were wiped out.
No kidding.
I never would have
No
believed
kidding.
it. Okay?
No. There were infantrymen that were on board that ship? Or,
I don't know how many were. I used the figure,
But
okay.
I'm saying, were they infantry soldiers?
They were
or-
stood there. We went by the
Yeah.
statue, and the guys just wiped out. Okay?
No kidding. That's an interesting
Yeah,
story.
just,
I never heard that
these
before.
were these kind of
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, that's what I'm.
Oh,
That's why
20,
I asked you.
20.
Yeah.
Come on. So, so the war ended for me there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In July, they don't need us because they know they got an atom bomb to finish Japan. So they started releasing some of us,
Oh,
and I
no
got out of the
kidding.
service in July before the Japanese war was over.
Oh, no kidding. Oh,
So then I spent time at home. First year, I thought I was going to go into business with my father. He was a carpenter. I had an older brother who I must say, I lost my older brother outside of Aachen, Germany
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to
in
hear
April of 1944. He was my older brother, my best friend,
Yeah.
just a hair-raising loss to the family. He should have taken over the business. Gone, okay? His remains are still there. We visit the Henri Chapelle cemetery in Belgium every time we go to Europe,
that. Yeah.
okay?
The cemeteries in Europe are come under the American flag.
Oh,
They're taken care of
beautiful.
by the Americans.
You go
I just
there,
wanna
it's the
tell the
most
audience.
beautiful, heart-rending thing you ever saw in your life. I can't help but think the number of times I've been there, and you drive in, and the building is here as you go in, but the field where they are, and you go out the back door, and then you look at this array of white crosses and the stars of David mixed in with them, and that's just hair-raising to look at.
So we have about half a minute left. What did you do after that? What
I
was
went back to Boston University, got my degree as a music teacher.
good for you?
I worked 2 years in Melrose as a teacher, went to Europe and studied. Met a
good.
soprano over there whom I married and
Good
is
for
still
you.
living with me.
Good for you.
We've just finished our 58th year together.
Good for you. Congratulations.
She's an opera singer.
Good.
Sang with Boston Opera. I was
Oh.
a music teacher. I did music theater. She did opera.
Wow.
And we have 3 children, 7 grandchildren,
Wow.
2 great grandchildren, and 1 on the way.
Wow.